Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Sports and Other Things. I'm your co-host Gabe, and with me we got co-host Troy calling in again. Troy, how's everything going?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. That's good to hear. It's been a little while since we've been able to do this. We've just been busy with life, and you had a nice vacation, went on a lovely cruise with your wife. So glad to have you back. Glad we can finally get things back rolling.
Yeah, it was a great time. We got to relax. Didn't have phone service, so I got to find out from some random stranger that the Cardinals lost, and then I lost Game 3, and then Game 4, I was sitting there in line for pizza, and I look over the TV and it says Nationals advance, Cardinals get swept. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, well, it's probably a good thing you didn't have cell service because the games were less than stellar. I'll just say that.
Oh yeah, but I think that the first place we can start is talking about the playoffs, what we predicted and where the teams kind of fell. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's great. This episode is perfect. It actually worked out kind of well that we waited so long to do an episode because now we're in the World Series. We just finished Game 1 of the World Series, so we can kind of talk about all the playoffs overall and then go into our expectations for the World Series.
Yep. All right. So starting off in the American League, we both had the Rays winning against the A's. And I don't think either one of us really thought that the Rays had a shot against the Astros, but they made that series pretty good. And I mean, it came down to the fifth game.
Yeah.
Made kind of a comeback. Astros kind of had to bear down and win that game, but it was a really good series. Now I know that you picked the Twins.
Yes. Yeah.
But like I said, the Yankees were gonna win. I thought the Twins at least would get one game, but Yankees took care of that.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I picked Twins in 4. I had a good feeling about it. They got swept by the Yankees. And then I believe you and I both picked Houston to sweep Tampa Bay. And the thing is,
I think I had the Rays winning. Yeah, I think I had Astros sweeping them.
I had them sweeping, and then as soon as they went back to friggin' Tampa Bay for Game 3, and the Rays won both games. I mean, I was very surprised. I wasn't worried though. Like going back Game 5 to Houston, I wasn't worried that they were going to beat Tampa Bay.
They still have played a pretty good game. So
yeah. I mean, it was a great series. Like definitely a surprising one for sure. I am a little surprised that the Twins got swept by the Yankees. Even though I predicted that the Twins were going to win, if I had to bet money on it, I would have picked the Yankees. But I felt good about the Twins, but I know that the Yankees are a better team overall. So.
Oh yeah, and we both had the Astros winning, no matter if it was Twins or the Yankees. It was a pretty good series, but the Astros definitely showed how good they were in that series, and they took 4. Fun fact, this is the first decade since like the 1910s that the Yankees have gone 10 years without winning or without going to the World Series.
Yep, it's pretty interesting. In the 2010s, they did not make the World Series at all, which is, I mean, it's kind of wild. Like when you just look at the overall pennants in the overall World Series championships. I mean, Yankees have 27 World Series championships, and they've been to the World Series probably, I don't know.
40-some.
Yeah, 40-something, because I know they have a ton of American League pennants. But yeah, I mean, the American League, overall was very good. Astros went up 3-1. I wasn't surprised the Yankees won Game 5, but I didn't expect the Astros to not advance. So I know the Yankees are good, but they're pretty banged up. Their starting pitching was a little iffy because there was that guy that got suspended for the postseason, another one that got hurt and missed the rest of the season, and then the Astros just had phenomenal pitching. Verlander was great, Cole's great, Greinke's great. I'm drawing a blank on who their fourth pitcher is, but he also had a pretty good postseason as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that this Yankees team is really good, and they got enough star power that really didn't even play very much this year. Giancarlo got hurt in a game in this series, or was it the series before, and he hurt his hamstring. He missed some games. Like they have all the star power, but like these guys kind of just got banged up a little bit, didn't get to play a lot, and they got guys just coming out of nowhere that are just stepping up like crazy. Buber Torres pretty much won a game by himself. They got, which he's been on the radar for many years, but they got other guys that are just coming up playing 20 games while somebody's hurt, and they're just showing up and just like, I deserve to be here. So they're definitely a good team that it won't be very long until they're back in the World Series. They need to definitely get their rotation down and maybe add an arm or two, but they're the Yankees. They'll buy somebody.
Yeah, and once the Astros, once their really awesome run of just great baseball ends, there will be somebody else that needs to step up and take over, which by that point, Aaron Judge will be in the league for, a few years. Stanton will still be in the league. They'll, like you said, they'll probably buy somebody else. So, I mean, they'll, I would, if you told me next year that they're going to be in the World Series, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And I think this Astro team's built for a long run. This isn't the NBA where you might be good for 3 years, but then your team's dismantled or anything like that.
I mean, I think the Astros can have great continuity for sure. They have a mix of young and old guys, so great veterans and then a bunch of young guys that are coming up. Jose Altuve is still really awesome. The guy's going to continue to be awesome, and
he's only 27, 28 years old.
Yeah, he's not that old at all. I mean, he's going to be...
Springer's 25, 26, maybe 27. Correa's like 24.
How old?
Bregman.
I was going to say, how old is Bregman? I think he's probably one of the...
Bregman's 23, 24.
Yeah, he's one of the younger ones for sure.
I mean, that whole... their pitching staff, Jarrett Cole's 28, I think. Verlander's 36, but if he continues to pitch like
he's still phenomenal. I mean, he's still the number one pitcher for a reason. I mean,
Verlander, like you saw with the Tigers, he kind of had a couple down years. But if you really like, a lot of people are like thinking Verlander's on PEDs or anything like that. But if you really look at Verlander, even when he was pitching for the Tigers and he was having down years, he was still striking out a good amount of people. His ERA still wasn't that bad. He still wasn't giving up a lot of hits. He still, like, if you look at his numbers, they were still good. But the thing was he wasn't winning games because the Tigers' offense wasn't very good. The Tigers, like, offensively haven't been good since 2013.
Yeah, since they lost in the World Series to the what was it, Giants?
Was that 12?
It was the year after the Cardinals. So yeah, it was the year after the Cardinals won against the Rangers. So I want to say 12. Yeah. Yeah, it was 12. Well, they were pretty good, and they lost in the postseason in 13, but then the Red Sox ended up beating them, I believe. And
yeah, that was the year that Miguel Cabrera had his Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great that year, and they 13, 14, they were still pretty good. But then Miguel Cabrera's gotten older; he hasn't been able to hit as well. They haven't really had the other star talent that they kind of had around. They just haven't really had a whole lot of players. Their core just got old, and because they were kind of veteran players at that time, and Verlander kind of was just pitching for a team that wasn't very good. And sometimes when you pitch for a team that's not very good, you kind of don't really. Your wins don't look good. Your losses look bad. An ERA around 3, is actually pretty good. But if you let's say you win 7 games and you lose 15 games and your ERA is around a 3, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many guys you strike out if your ERA is around a 3 and you're losing 15 games. But another thing was Verlander kind of was losing his velocity a little bit. It still was high, but it was losing a little bit, and it was because he was getting older and he was starting to get hurt a little bit, and he's changed his mechanics. If you watch his mechanics, they're still the same old mechanics, but they're just fine tuned a little bit. He changes a few things.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's doing something else to like maybe different workout regimen, maybe different diet just to keep his body in good shape.
I think he is, and I think being married to Kate Upton, or not Kate Upton.
Yeah.
Is he married to?
Yeah, he's married to Kate Upton.
Yeah. That's going to keep him young. So. What? She's like 10 years younger than him.
Yeah, but that is just really, the way you said that was super funny.
She's 27. He's 36. I mean, that's going to keep him young. But I definitely think that he's rejuvenating himself. I don't think he's on PEDs.
No.
But, because his numbers really weren't bad. It just on a good team. Jack Morris, another famous Tiger from back in the day. My dad has talked about him plenty of times, and the dude was a guy that if his team scored one run, he would fight his hardest to not let anybody score any runs on him. But if his team scored 8 runs, he kind of would give up 6 runs. Like it just his fight was he was always caring about winning games and didn't so much care about keeping his ERA low or doing anything like that. So it is definitely hard when you know maybe you don't have a good defense behind you, so you're trying to do too much, so you end up throwing a bad pitch that's right down the middle, dude hits a home run, or I just gave up a 2-run shot. It's just 2-0, third inning, but I know my offense is going to score me runs. Now I got to fight really, really hard to keep them at 2, and hopefully my offense is going to score some runs, and then they end up not, and you give up 5 more runs, and it's 7-0. It's just there's a lot more to pitching than just going out there and throwing the ball. Like you got all kinds of psychology around it, and pitchers on a good team. It's easy to pitch when you're winning. It's easy to pitch when you have an offense that's going to go out there and get you runs in the first, second, or third inning, because that's like, all right, we're up 5-0. Let's go throw this ball, and it's a big thing. And I think that the Astros are definitely that team that you want to be pitching for. So,
oh yeah.
So all right, let's go to the National League side. We both had the Nationals winning, I believe.
Yeah, we both picked them against the Brewers.
I don't think either one of us had them win against the Dodgers. I think I might have.
No, I had them losing in 4. That's what I picked.
You had the Dodgers sweeping the Nationals?
No. I had the because it was a 5-game series first round.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I had the Nationals winning 1 game at home and then losing to the Dodgers in 4.
I was looking at the bracket and saw them as second, and so I was thinking 7 game. But yeah, okay, losing 4, so they only won 1 game. You had them winning 1 game.
Right.
Well, I think that the Nationals just outpitched the Dodgers, and they had some guys that just came out and hit the ball. Like we talked about. What's his name? Walker Buehler. I think that's who it was. Threw 7 and 2 innings. Gave up 1 or 2 runs, had double-digit strikeouts, had a great game, gave up 3 hits, something like that. It's something just ridiculously good. And they put Kershaw in, and I remember as soon as I got that notification, I texted you, said, "Is Kershaw going to blow this?"
Yeah, and you know what?
You text back probably, and as I in that 2-minute time period, he gave up a bomb to Rendon.
No, I thought it was the Soto.
No, he gave up a bomb to Rendon, and then Soto hit the bomb, a bomb the next batter.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So the pitch he threw to Rendon was not even in the strike zone, and Rendon just got a hold of it or something, because it was not a pitch that you normally see somebody hit a home run. It was kind of low and inside. Dude hit a home run with it, so that dropped Kershaw a little bit. He's like, oh dang it. So then he throws a meat pitch to Soto next batter, and Soto's like, see ya. And
as soon as he hit it, and you look and as soon as it made contact, Kershaw he knew.
Oh yeah, I mean, as soon as he threw the pitch, he's like, "Oh, that's a bad pitch," and then everybody knows how Kendrick hit a walk off grand slam in like the 10th inning, and the Nationals moved on. We both were hoping that the Cardinals were going to beat the Braves, but we both figured the Braves were going to win.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that. How often do you see where three out of the four division series goes to 5 games?
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy. And I think of the division series, I think the Cardinals series was the absolute wildest.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, Game 5 was record breaking.
Right.
But
Game 3 was ridiculous. You have a lead all the way in the game, and you give up 3 runs in the 9th inning to lose.
Yeah, I think it's because you were at that game.
Yeah,
That's why we lost.
shut up. Yeah, I know. That's literally what I've had a couple people tell me, because I went to the game, they lost. But you know what? They had a lead until Carlos Martinez came in and choked.
Nah, he gave up some hits. That's baseball.
No, I know, but here's the thing. As soon as the first guy got on base, nobody was warming up in the bullpen. And then Mike Shield decided to walk. I'm trying to remember who he intentionally walked. Well, he intentionally walked him, and as soon as he did that, the friggin' who was it? Dang it! It's been almost 2 weeks. Or it's been a week and a half since that. I don't remember who it was, but they hit a hit. They got a hit that went all the way to the. It was a sacrifice fly. It went all the way to the friggin' warning track. I mean, so got 1 run there, and you got a guy in first and second with no outs, and there's nobody warming up in the bullpen. What was Mike Shield doing?
I don't know, man, but we won the series. We broke the record for most runs in the first inning. It was a crazy series, back and forth.
Yeah.
A lot of ups and downs.
Game four was also crazy.
Yeah. Definitely was thinking the Braves were going to take this series.
Yeah.
Cardinals took it, and part of me wishes that we would have just lost Game 5 against the Braves, because we go and roll a freaking big egg against the
here's the thing. I think the Cardinals, they scored 10 runs in the first. They scored 13 overall. Like, if they could have scored 8 runs in that game, they still would have won by 6 runs, because I think the Braves only scored 2 runs in that game. So the thing is, I think all their runs friggin' happened against the Braves because they in a 4-game series, or in 4 games, they scored 6 total runs, with 1 of those games being no runs and 2 of those games being 1 run. It was awful. And the thing is, they almost had 2 separate no-hitters.
Yep, it was not a good series, and I definitely who was it, Gio Gonzalez that pitched the first game?
No,
Game 1.
It was Anibal Sanchez.
Yeah, it was Anibal Sanchez. That dude just freaking. He was a good pitcher for the Tigers, and I remember he was the number 3 behind Verlander and Scherzer, dude was good. I mean, he was a good pitcher, and
yep.
He kind of gets overshadowed a little bit with that star-studded team.
With Scherzer and Strasburg in front of him.
And Patrick Corbin.
And Patrick Corbin. Yeah, it's crazy because, Sanchez was the 4th pitcher in the rotation, but because they went 5 games against the Dodgers, he was just the next one that was, the best up. And the guy throws a no-hitter for 7.2 innings.
Yep.
That's crazy. And then the next game, Max Scherzer, I think he was throwing one all the way until the 8th inning as well.
Yeah, the Nationals definitely just outpitched the crap out of us.
Well, and not only did they outpitch the crap out of us, but their defense was better. There was a lot of errors in the National Series. The hitting was overall better. I know that the Nationals were a better team. It's just they were stuck behind Atlanta. so they didn't get the division. I think I don't remember who ended up with a better record overall, but I think the Nationals, I think they were just they were a better team. I think if the Braves had played them, I'm not really sure who would have won, but it definitely the Cardinals.
They had a better record than the Cardinals.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So
93, 69, 91, 71.
Okay, exactly. So I mean they were a better team overall on paper, and then they're a better overall team on on the eye test as well. So
yeah, I definitely think that this national team is a lot better than a lot of people thought.
Yeah, I mean better than I thought.
I think that they have a really good pitching staff, which helps a lot.
Right.
When you have, I got a notification yesterday, or no, it was today, right after work. It said something like, "Is this like, how was it worded?" It was something like, "Is this the World Series we're going to talk about for years because of all the Hall of Famers that are in this?" I mean, Max Scherzer could be Max Scherzer most likely is a Hall of Famer. If he called it a career after this year, he's got a good shot of making the Hall of Fame. But I think he's still got five plus years to go. He's only like 31, and he hasn't shown that he's slowing down at all.
Nope.
Strasburg is 28, 29. Definitely a great pitcher. He's kind of had some ups and downs in his career. But I think that if the Nationals continue to build on what they have right now, he's going to have a winning team behind him.
He's going to have a chance.
So he might have more confidence on the mound. He might pitch a little bit better. And he could make it to the Hall of Fame if he pitches great the next 5 to 10 years.
Verlander.
Corbin, he gets overshadowed a lot. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but definitely a perennial All-Star. On the other side, we got the Astros, who have Verlander, who undoubtedly is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Zach Greinke is a possibility of the Hall of Famer.
He just needs to continue. The fact that he made a drastic change after he got traded to Houston. If he continues to pitch super well with Houston and wins a World Series, has a good series, and then has a good couple more playoffs, because I imagine Houston's going to continue doing well in the playoffs. He's got a good chance for the Hall of Fame. It would be a stretch for sure, but definitely would have a case.
He'll be one of those borderline guys that might get in after a couple years, but definitely has had an amazing career. Garrett Cole, I mean, we don't even know what his potential is, because the dude pitched for the Pirates for several years and was putting up ungodly numbers, and he was playing for a team that really wasn't even that great. And so now with him being an Astro, he's been putting up amazing numbers, and people are like, "Oh my God, who is this dude? He's so good." Well, it was like, man, are you just like a casual baseball fan that doesn't really care? Because this dude's been top 5, top 10 starter for the last 5 years, but he pitched in Pittsburgh. You just didn't really hear about him.
Yeah, for real. And that's the thing. The crazy thing about Cole is I remember all the battles that he had against the Cardinals, because obviously Pittsburgh's in the same division, and it's the fact that he went to the Astros was crap.
Yeah.
Because I know he's good, but it's like you said, the casual fan doesn't know, because he was stuck on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Pirates had that 2 or 3 good year stretch where they were in contention for the division and or the wild card.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, because he was the first overall pick in 2011, I believe.
I couldn't tell you.
Might be 2012. Yeah, it was 2012. Here, hold on. And him and Trevor Bauer were teammates at UCLA. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really funny, because Trevor Bauer, we know he played for the Indians. He just got traded to, I think, the Reds. Yeah, he got traded to the Reds, and
he wasn't happy, right? There was a situation with the team.
He's never happy.
Yeah.
So the story I'm about to tell you is the dude literally was pitching at UCLA, and like you know how like you always have somebody that you're trying to beat.
Yeah.
Well, he was always trying to beat his own teammate. He was always trying to beat Jarrett Cole.
Well, I mean, that happens. I mean, it's kind of like the Greinke Kershaw situation a few years ago in the Dodgers.
Yeah, but the difference is like Trevor Bauer was like vocal about it and like was talking about how like he's the better pitcher. He deserves to be the number one pick and blah 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 and all this stuff. And then they'd go ask Jarrett Cole, and Jarrett Cole would be like, I don't care. Whoever picks me, picks me. I don't care if I'm number one. If the team at number one wants me and wants to pick me, I would love to play for them. If the number 3 team picks me, I'd love to. And it's so funny because it's like two completely different personalities. One dude's literally like over there talking smack about how he's better than the other dude, and the other guy's like, I don't even care. Say what you want to say. But we also know how both of their careers are going and who's the better pitcher.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay, so we've talked about each series and you know how everything went and how our predictions, especially mine, did not stand up. So you watched the second half of the game tonight. So I was not home and available to watch the game. You know, I got in like right as the game was ending, so I didn't get to watch the World Series. They're the first game of the World Series. So, from what you watched, and knowing now that the Nationals won Game 1 4-3, or was it 5-4?
I will say I actually did not watch the game because my MLB TV thing would not let me watch the game. But I was watching the play-by-play.
Was it 5-4 or 4-3?
It was 5-4.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So the Astros scored first. They had a 2-run RBI double in the first. The Astros hit a home run. In the second and the fourth, they ended up scoring 3 runs in the fifth. So then they were up 5-2. Astros had 1 run in the bottom of the 7th, 1 run in the bottom of the 8th. So they kind of made a little bit of comeback, but didn't do anything in the bottom of the 9th. I think that for one, all 5 runs were scored on Jarrett Cole. Like we've been saying all night, Jarrett Cole's an amazing pitcher, and he had a really low ERA in the postseason.
Yeah, he had a point coming into the game tonight. He had a .4 ERA in the postseason.
Yeah, in his last 20 starts, I think it was his last 20 or maybe last 30 starts, something like that. His ERA was like .9.
Oh my!
8 maybe.
Yeah, that is incredible.
It was something stupid, stupid good. Like it was just amazingly low, and it's crazy that this team, like the Nationals, obviously are a great team. That's why they're here. But like offensively, they're kind of hit or miss, and like they when they turn it on, I mean they're gonna get 9 hits and score 5 runs. But it's just crazy that this Nationals team came out Game 1 and scored 5 runs against one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Right.
And a guy that has gone 20 starts with that low of an ERA. So I think that, MVP Game 1 is Juan Soto. I mean, the dude was 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs.
Yep.
And had a home run. I mean, the dude's a great player. Scherzer had a pretty good game. I mean, he threw 5 innings, 5 hits, and had 2 earned runs on him. But I mean, that's pretty good.
They're playing a team who's in the World Series. It's not like it's a regular season game, so you expect the team that's in the World Series to be hitting well, playing well.
Oh yeah.
So if you give up 5 hits as a starting pitcher in the World Series, like that's okay. You know, you only give up 2 runs. That's okay because you're playing arguably the best team in the American League.
Yeah, well, and the Astros are definitely that. I would say that the biggest success of the Nationals was not even winning Game 1. That's not the biggest success because, honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wins Game 1.
Right.
Because there's 7 games.
Right.
The Astros could win the next 4 and just be like, go on and win a World Series, and that they call it the year. But winning game 1 is great. Their biggest success, though, is Scherzer only pitched 5 innings. I don't know what his pitch count was, but I'm saying if he threw five innings, gave up 5 hits, he only struck out 7. I bet he threw around 80 pitches.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good number. But let me pose this question to you. So, obviously, it's great that Scherzer didn't throw in a high number of pitches. Hopefully, I'm currently looking that up. But that means, he'll be available sooner and available earlier for the Nationals. But are you at all surprised that the Nationals came into Houston and took game 1? Because I am a little bit.
I think that, okay, obviously the Astros have won the last 2 series and have been playing really well. I don't take that away. But the Nationals went from being a wild card team to beating arguably the best team in the National League in the Dodgers, and then beating arguably the team that beat the arguably other best team in the National League. The 2 teams that we thought were going to be playing against each other, the Braves and the Dodgers. Like, they beat the Dodgers, then they beat the team that beat the Braves. Like, they swept that team. They're sitting there like, we're actually pretty good, boys. Like, the average age of their starting lineup, like position players, I would say might not even be 25 or 26.
Yeah. Well, here. So I'm looking at this right now. First of all, Scherzer threw 112 pitches.
That's a lot of 114 pitches.
112. I'm showing 112.
Mine says 114.
Okay. Well, either way, 112, 114. That's a lot of freaking pitches.
Yeah, especially in 5 innings.
Especially in 5 innings. That's a lot. And here's the thing. So, this isn't a big deal, but Patrick Corbin did come in. He threw, I'm showing 23 pitches. I mean, 1 inning is not going to kill him. By the time, he'll be plenty ready for his Game 3 start.
Yeah.
But 112 pitches, that's a lot.
Yeah, and no matter if it was 112, 114, that's a lot of pitches, especially in 5 innings. And Garrett Cole hasn't lost a game in 5 months.
Jeez.
Garrett Cole is crying somewhere right now.
Probably 5 months. That is wild.
Oh my gosh, this is a crazy stat. I mean, this has nothing to do with the Nationals because this goes all the way back to the Senator days. But in the last 86 years, no Washington baseball team has won a World Series game. That is ridiculous. That is a crazy, awesome stat, and I'm glad that they took Game 1 because that
I mean, so I believe that this was their first time to the World Series since that a DC team has been in the World Series since 33 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. But the 112 pitches. Let's hypothetical. Let's say that the Nationals are up 3-0 on Houston. Do you put Scherzer in for Game 4, or do you trust Sanchez to close out the series? After he threw 112 pitches. Because if you bring him in for Game 4, and then some crazy fluke thing happens, regardless, if he plays for Game 4, there is a chance that he could also be ready for Game 7. But if you wait and go through your first 4 rotation, and then bring him in on Game 5, he will not be ready by Game 7. Most likely, unless he throws a very small number of pitches.
Alright, so I think that I could argue 2 different points in this. Hold on. Let me look one thing up before I start arguing. Alright, so Game 7 is next Wednesday. So Game 5 is Sunday. Or Game 4 is Saturday. So there's a possibility that he could pitch Game 4 and be ready for Game 7.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But if he pitches Game 5, he won't be ready by Game 7. It's just just typically that doesn't work unless two things happen. One, the Nationals are completely destroying the Astros in Game 5, and they decide to pull him early, and he hasn't pitched enough pitches, and he'll be ready by Game 7. Or two, he's having a horrendous game and gets pulled early again. So
I think that he could. We could see him pitch in Game 4. I think that if he pitched Game 5, I mean, Madison Bumgarner, if you remember a couple years back, the dude literally was like, he was pitching, starting games, and then like the next game or the game after, he was closing a game, or came in relief on a game, and then he started another game like 2 games later. Like the dude pitched out of the 6 or 7 games that they played in the World Series, he pitched in like 4 or 5 of them. It was something stupid.
Yeah, because he was coming in as like a middle relief instead of a closer. And he was coming in. Well, I'm sorry, not middle relief. He was coming in for like the 8th inning.
Yeah.
So like pitching that 1 inning and in throwing anywhere between like I don't know
20 pitches,
12 and 25 pitches. Yeah, like that's not anything crazy.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I think that I would probably, if I would run Sanchez out there Game 4 if they win the next 2 games.
Yeah, because what are the odds? I mean, this is not a Red Sox 0-4 situation. Okay, if the Nationals go up 3-0. I say you just put Sanchez out there. If he loses the game, you're going back to Houston for Game 5. Okay, like, Houston's not going to win 4 straight games after losing the first 3. It's just not going to happen.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
So, I say you put Sanchez out there, give the guy an opportunity to win a World Series game. I don't know how long Sanchez has been in the league, but, like, if he wins a World Series game, he may just end up retiring, to be honest.
Why?
I don't know how old he is. That's why I said that.
He's not that old.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of guys who, call it a career after going to the World Series. So.
Yeah, those are guys that are mediocre pitchers. This dude's been a good pitcher. He made his major. Okay, he's 35. So yes, he is a little bit older.
He said he's not that old.
But like how you said it was like he was like 42.
Yeah, that's true. I did make him seem like he was like Bartolo Colon out there.
Yeah, jeez. Like the dude's 35. he made his major league debut in 2006, and I mean the dude's just been just a good pitcher. I mean, if you look at his stats,
I would say just looking at his stats and everything, he's definitely been above average.
I mean, dude's had 200 strikeouts a couple times.
That's a lot. That's a pretty good season.
He had 1 year that he had a 2.57 ERA. He started 29 games that year. I mean, the dude's like. Here's another one. He pitched 35 games, 28 games, 25 games. He pitched 30 games this year.
Yeah. Well, okay. So going into this series, if you'd asked me and I had to put money on, I would have picked Houston in 6. Technically, my Houston in 6 is still very, very possible. It's like you're saying, just because the Nationals took Game 1 in Houston, it doesn't mean anything. There's still 7 games. Like, Houston could still win in 6. Does the Nationals winning Game 1, does that change your initial prediction? I don't know what it was.
I really didn't have a prediction going into this.
This World Series, I mean, it's difficult to predict because of the pitching, because of both teams have a really awesome, solid defense. Both teams, especially when the Nationals have it going, both teams have great hitting. So I mean, this series is so interesting to judge because the Nationals, on the overall spectrum and the overall thought process of the season, they're not expected to be here. And so they've exceeded all these expectations, and like they could do it again. So the prediction that I picked, I was picking I would pick 6 games in the Astros, but that's a hard pick. Like, you could tell me that the Nationals could beat the Astros in 5 games, and after the season they had and after the postseason that they've had, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you got a couple guys that were former teammates. You got Scherzer and Verlander; they were former teammates. Anibal Sanchez and Verlander as well. Patrick Corbin and Greinke were ex-teammates. You got Strasburg and Derek Cole, both #1 picks. You got Rendon and Bregman, who are both being looked at MVP, and they're both third basemen. You got Juan Soto and Carlos Correa, who have been undoubtedly for years have been looked at as guys that were going to turn into studs, and they're showing it right now. And then you got Zimmerman and Altuve, who Altuve hasn't been in the league as long as Zimmerman has, but like Altuve was on the team when the Astros sucked, and like he was just kind of like that dude that like was kind of like showing some light of like the future was bright, and the dude turned into the face of the franchise. And Zimmerman obviously was the Nationals' first pick in 2005, and he's been Mr. National ever since. So it's just a crazy series because, like you said, they both have good pitching, they both have good defense, they both have good hitting. I think that if the Yankees would have gotten into this, they have a really good offense, but their pitchers aren't that great. They have a couple good pitchers. Serviano, I think he's back healthy, but that dude's an amazing pitcher, and he's one of my favorite dudes to watch because he just commands the mound. But he gets hurt all the time. They got several other guys that get hurt too much, and I think that the Cardinals, I mean, they're really good in. I would say they're pretty good at everything. They're pretty good at defense. They're pretty good at pitching. They're pretty good at hitting.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something out there where the Cardinals had one of the better defensive infields in the league because you have Colton Wong, who's one of the better second basemen. You have a Gold Glove winner, multi-time Gold Glove winner, Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Paul DeJong is solid shortstop, and then Matt Carpenter over the years has been pretty consistent at third base. He had some interesting stuff that happened in the postseason, but I think that just the Nationals and the Astros are clearly like the best of all of those teams. So that's what made it so hard for a prediction. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with my Astros in 6, just because that's what I thought they were gonna do. This one game doesn't change anything. I think what'll probably happen is Astros will probably win Game 2, Game 3. Nationals will win Game 4. Houston will win Game 5, and then close it out in Game 6. So
I think that your prediction could be correct. I'm not gonna give a prediction because I don't have one.
All right, that's fair.
I give a couple different predictions of what I think might happen, but I don't have one bold prediction. I think that, which, like that's kind of hard for me, but I like the bold predictions. But I think that if the Nationals are going to win, they need to win fast. They're going to have to win the first couple games. They're going to have to continue to ride this out. So they're going to have to win Game 2 and 3. If they win Game 2 and 3, they got a pretty good shot of winning the series. If they lose Game 2 and 3, or at least one of them, the Astros have been here before. Everybody on this team has been there before, minus a few guys. But like when 80-90% of your team was there the last time you won the World Series in 2017. I mean, that's a pretty good.
I think the only one of the bigger factors that's not on the team that's on the team now is the catcher who played for the Braves, who just recently retired.
Yeah, there's a few guys, but
yeah.
I mean Greinke, but Greinke's been in the World Series. He's been deep in the playoffs. The dude's pitched for some really good teams. So you like the Astros are going to be that team that like they're really really freaking good, and they have all this talent and all this veteran knowledge. Even the guys that are 24, they've been in the World Series. Like, you got these guys that know what to do late in the series. Like, just think about like the Yankees in the late 90s. Like, some of those dudes were 25 years old and had been to 3 World Series. Like, those guys, you knew what to do in crunch time, knew what they needed to do. You got a guy on second and third, 2 outs late in the game. Like, don't be thinking about, like, what if I strike out here? Look how bad I'm going to look. No, you're going to get a base hit. You're going to hit a ball in the gap. You're going to score some runs, and that's just what you got to think about late in the playoffs and in the World Series. So I think that if the Nationals are going to win, they need to continue this streak and just keep flying through these games and winning games fast.
Yeah.
I think that it's either going to be that, and the Nationals are going to win in 5, or the Astros are going to come out and win Game 2 and 3. I see the Astros actually coming out and winning the next 3, and then maybe the Nationals winning another one, and the Astros taking Game 6. So I kind of can see two different predictions: Astros in 6 or Nationals in 5. I think Game 2 is going to tell us a lot more.
Yeah, and I think my favorite part about this World Series compared to years past is I don't have a problem with whoever wins. I'm not rooting against the Astros, and I'm not rooting against the Nationals. Whichever team wins, I'll be so happy for it, because I think Houston's an awesome team. They won a couple years ago. It was definitely something cool after all the hurricane stuff. Then winning again would be awesome. And then also for the Nationals, for the first time in franchise history, that would just be amazing. So I don't have a problem with it. Like, the last 2 years, I've always enjoyed the Red Sox growing up, and I've always never had a problem with the Astros. And so of course I was going to root for them against the Dodgers. Like,
I think that. So Alex Bregman is one of my favorite players. I think the dude's a stud, and I remember when he got drafted, and he was a great player. He's coming up with the Astros, and there was a lot of people that doubted him, and I don't really understand why, because he kind of just came up and played his game and showed everybody like he deserves to be there. But there's just so many people that continue to doubt him. Right. I don't think this kid's going to be able to hit like this forever. I don't think this kid's going to be able to do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. And he just continued to do it. And, like, it's just, I think he's a great player, very resilient. And for such a young player, it's just amazing. There's plenty of Astros. I remember 2 years ago, George Springer struck out 4 times in Game 1 against the Dodgers, and I remember where I was working, a guy came in one day and he knew I was a big baseball fan. I remember he was like, "Man, George Springer's trash. Like, he's probably like one of the worst baseball players I've ever seen." It's something like that, and I was like, "You have no idea what you're talking about." And he's like, "He struck out 4 times last night. He's their leadoff hitter. Like, how as a coach are you going to leave a guy in there as your leadoff hitter when he strikes out 4 times in a game?" I said, that's baseball. They're in the World Series, and that pitcher's out there trying to strike him out.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you might have a game where you strike out 4 times. He ended up hitting like 6 home runs in the next several games, and pretty much put the team on his back, and ended up winning the World Series MVP. And like, I just remember that dude came came back in a couple days later, or down the road. And he looked at me and he kind of just had that face on of like he knew he screwed up. And he goes, that George Springer guy, he's a pretty good ball player. I was like, yes, he is.
You're like, I know.
And that's baseball, and I think this Astro team is really, really freaking good. And so I think that if they win, that's going to be awesome. But then on the other side, I kind of want the Nationals to win, because a big screw you to Bryce Harper. I think I've been following Bryce Harper since he was in high school, and I've always thought the dude was great. And I've been one of those guys that has watched him. I haven't really been a fan, I'd say, because I know a lot of people that are casual baseball fans are like, oh, Bryce Harper's like the greatest baseball player ever. I'm like, yeah, but did you see his average last year? I mean, I don't think 267 is the greatest baseball player of all time. Like, I'll tell you right now, Mark McGwire is one of my favorite players of all time. Was he a good hitter? No, he was a terrible hitter. Good home run hitter? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think.
He wouldn't bat 270.
Yeah. I was gonna say he didn't. His average wasn't like amazing, but I mean
his career average was like 265. But he knew that. He knew that he wasn't hitting for a high average. Whenever you're Bryce Harper and you think you're the greatest hitter of all time, like, I mean, I'm not an MLB baseball player. I'm not trying to say that I would do a better job. But like, I'm just saying, like, if I was Bryce Harper, I think I would focus more on getting my average up to 300 instead of hitting home runs.
Right. Well, and at least, you know, you have somebody like Manny Machado who had also a pretty poor batting season, and Machado was like, yeah, I got to be better. You know, like.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. But the thing about Manny Machado is Manny Machado brings a lot on the defensive side. I mean, Bryce Harper's not bad defensively, but like Manny Machado is a game changer. He started out playing shortstop. They got their young stud coming up. They moved him over to third, back over to third. And I mean, you hit a ball down the line, you think, I got a base hit, maybe a double.
Machado's fast.
Over there making a diving play, throwing it from behind the third base coach, and you're gunned out. You're like, what? Huh? What? Oh, I'm out. Okay. And that's something that Bryce Harper can't do for you. Like that, he might make some plays in the outfield, but the dude hasn't really hustled like he did his first couple of years because he was out there trying to prove himself. I remember he hit a little ground ball. It was like his rookie year, maybe his second year. Hit a ground ball back to the pitcher, and he almost beat it out to first. And then like 2 years ago, he hit the same kind of ball, and he jogged. I'm pretty sure he could have walked faster down first base line. And I was like, nah, it's getting too much to his head. I mean, he's a great ball player, but come on. Mark McGwire's batting average for his career was 263.
Yeah, I mean, but when he'd make contact with the ball, I mean, it would be over the fence, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his career, he had one season that he batted 333. He played in 27 games and only had 107 at-bats, which, I mean, 107 at-bats can tell you some and can't tell you some. He had another year that he batted 312, and he had 130 games, and he had 423 at bats. So I mean, he had some good years, but like in 1998, he batted 278 and hit 65 home runs.
Yeah, for
in
real.
1998, he hit 299 and hit 70 home runs. So I mean, he had some pretty good years there. I mean, 2000 he batted 305 in 89 games. And then he batted 187 in 97 games, 2001, and then called it a career. But, like, for his career, he batted 263. But, like, he knew, I'm a home run hitter. I'm here for home runs and RBIs. He's a first baseman. Like, that's what he was known for. Bryce Harper is supposed to be the greatest hitter of all time. But the dude didn't even hit 29 home runs this year or something like that. And, like, I mean, that's a good amount of home runs, but if you're trying to put all your faith into home runs and you're batting 260 and you only hit 29 home runs, like 35 home runs, I'm sorry, but he batted 260 this year, 35 home runs, 114 RBIs. If he batted 280 with that many home runs and that many RBIs, I'd say, you know what, Bryce Harper, you had a good year. But 260 with those numbers is not good. If he had 45 or 50 home runs, I'd be like, okay. Yeah, he still had a pretty good year. But I want the Nationals to win for that one fact of it's a big screw you to Bryce Harper. We're better without you. Go play for the Phillies and go suck. He also had a speech whenever he signed with Philadelphia.
Oh, my gosh, that was so funny.
That he said that he was going to bring a World Series title back to D.C. Oh, Philadelphia. Oh. Well, I think you were correct.
Yeah, seriously, like I saw that as soon as the Nationals swept the Cardinals, I was like, maybe Bryce Harper accidentally saying this, was right. Like,
yep.
So
I mean, he's been in the pros since 2012. He got hurt. This is, I don't know why this doesn't have his stats on there. It has has 5 games. That's not how many games he played in that year. But I mean, the dude's batting career average is 276, but the last 2 years, his average hasn't even close to 276.
Yeah.
It's been 260, 265. But
yeah, I think it'll be it'll definitely be awesome for the Nationals just to show it's maybe we didn't need Bryce. We didn't need him at all. You got 9 more years left in Philly, my dude. So, but I mean,
9?
Yeah, wait, did he sign a 10-year? It was, oh, wait.
No, it was a 13-year,
okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking Machado signed the 13-year. Machado signed the 10-year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I flipped those around. Okay, Machado signed the 10-year. Bryce. Okay, so he's got 12 years at Philadelphia left.
Yep.
Woo! Well, anyway.
Which, I mean, in 9 years, we could be like, Bryce Harper has been batting 320 for the last 9 years. He's been a great player. But we could also be like, Bryce Harper had a lot of potential, but dude hasn't batted over 260 since.
Yeah. Yeah, well, either way, I'm excited for the series. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I believe that, whatever the outcome is, it's going to be awesome. So I'm, you and I have been talking about it. Well, we talked about it quite a bit at work. I think it's definitely going to be a battle of the pitchers, and it might be one of the best pitching World Series that we've ever seen. So.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably one of the best since early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm thinking some of those with Pedro and Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, a couple of those guys. I mean, those are some really good pitchers. I think that what was it, 2001? Was it 2001 or 2002?
What are you talking about?
Yankees and the Diamondbacks World Series.
Oh, it was 2001. Yeah, with Randy Johnson.
Dude, that was one of the craziest freaking World Series. They went 7 games, and there was some amazing pitchers in that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling. They were co-MVPs. Andy Pettit. I mean, there were some amazing pitchers. Not even counting Mariano Rivera. But
yeah.
Who else was in there? Roger Clemens was in there. Kurt Schilling, Randy Johnson, Mike Mussina, Pettit, Rivera. I mean, there's some big time pitchers in that, and I think that's probably one of the last World Series that had that many star pitchers in it.
Yeah. I think I think either way, it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be enjoyable to watch. We're definitely going to have some great conversations about it coming in the next few weeks. So, Troy, I appreciate it like always. I appreciate all you guys subscribing, listening to all of our episodes. Please like, and if you have any comments or any feedback, please leave that in the messages below. Other than that, I think later this week, I'll try to get some content out for the NBA. NBA season started tonight. I was hoping to get something out before the season started, but it actually works out well. The Thunder play tomorrow, so I'll kind of go in to talk about the Thunder and the overall NBA. So, Troy, if you're available, what'd you say?
Clippers won.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just saw that. I saw that they beat the Lakers tonight. But yeah, I mean, if you're available, I'd be more than happy to have you again. If not, I can cover the NBA all by myself. That's definitely my strong point. So,
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, if I'm available, I will. NBA is definitely my last thing I like to talk about. I'd rather talk about football or baseball, but yeah, we might be able to throw something together. I think that I think this is the best time of the year because you got a little bit of baseball, you got a little bit of basketball,
Yeah. They
a little
call
bit of
it
football.
well, and even some of hockey's starting. So it's really just the best of all kind of sports going on because you get the World Series ending right as other sports are starting, so it's kind of perfect. But man, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I appreciate everyone listening, and you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.